the exhibit, you'll see that the animals definitely know what's going to happen. And we'll be able to ask Pam a few questions about these amazing animals, as well as check out what they get to eat every day here. So stick around. It'll take about 10 or 15 minutes to do the whole feeding program. You can see they definitely get a little bit more excited. So how are you doing today, Pam?
Don't drop your phone.
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. What is your job? You're a biologist, and what do you do here at the Academy of Sciences?
Well, I'm in charge of all of the sharks and the rays in the building, and but my favorite thing to do is the jellyfish. So I do all of the jellyfish that you see in the aquarium. I take care of it and grow and raise here.
Very cool. So very marine oriented.
Yes.
Raise your hand if you like jellyfish. About sharks and rays. Anybody sharks and rays? There we go. So what's on the menu today? It's looking like they're excited.
They are excited. Yeah, these guys are definitely aware that when someone comes and stands on this platform right here, that means it's time to eat. So they're getting excited. They're swimming around a little bit more. Today we have a diet of squid and prawns, and also some pellet food for our fish.
Oh, and what kind of animals are you going to be feeding today? Does everybody get to eat?
Yeah, everybody gets to eat. So these brown rays that are circling here, those are called cow-nose rays. We have two smaller rays, this one here and that one over there. They're called blue spot rays. In the wild, they develop these bright blue spots on them, but ours don't have the blue spots, unfortunately. And then we have this big ray right here is called a honeycomb ray or a whiptail ray. And then we also have 3 black-tip reef sharks and 3 brown-banded bamboo sharks. Those are they're smaller and they usually hide in the walkway underneath where you guys are standing or in these rocks over here. There we go.
There's one coming out right
It's
now.
a really good time to see them. They're usually not out during the day unless it's feeding time.
Also just a fun name to say, brown-banded bamboo shark.
Yeah.
And where in the world do we find all these animals?
So all these guys are located in the Indo-Pacific, specifically near the Philippines. So we have over on the other side the Philippine coral reef, and then next to the coral reef would be a mangrove lagoon, and that's what this exhibit here is representing. So these animals will be found in the Philippines.
Very cool. So whenever you're ready, we'll check out how you feed these animals.
Yeah, the first thing I'm going to do is throw out some food for the fish. So it's kind of hard to see because the water is all choppy now because of the rays, but there's a bunch of fish in here as well as sharks and rays. So they're going to get some food first. And basically this is just like pellets or flake food that you would feed if you have a fish tank at home. Anyone has like goldfish or something at home. It's the same type of food. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to throw out a little bit of food for the rays. And then I'm going to use these tongs here to do what's called target feeding. And I'm going to target feed our honeycomb ray. And we do that because she's special. She's the only one in this exhibit, and these other rays are a little feisty and kind of outcompete her for food sometimes. So we want to make sure she gets her food. And she also gets some vitamins and stuff. And if we need to medicate her,
I got my head blood.
she would come right over to our tongs. So we have her target trained to feed from the tongs, and the rest of the animals in the exhibit feed from what's called a broadcast. So that's me basically just throwing the food out. It's a big free-for-all.
Very cool. And I imagine a lot of you are envious of Pam over here, taking care of sharks and jellies for your job. But if you want to become a biologist, there's actually a lot of really good steps that you can take, even if you're in high school or grade school. Pam, what would you say would be a really good way for a younger person to get to your line of work?
Yeah, so you can't really go to school to do what I do. Most people get involved by starting by being volunteers or interns in college or after college. So many of our biologists here have a degree in
Trying to let her get in here.
college, and after college or during college came and volunteered for many years until they got lucky and got a job.
Hopefully not too many years of volunteering. That's a really great way to get involved in. So to learn the skills that you need to become a biologist and take care of these amazing animals. It looks like the squid are going in right now. Raise your hand if you eat squid. Calamari, anybody?
Squid!
Yeah, this is actually restaurant quality food that we give all our animals here. So pretty high quality. And if you look really closely, occasionally you'll get to see some different squid in here that have vitamins inside them. It's kind of hard to tell the ones with vitamins and the ones without. But it's a really good idea to vitamize these animals.
Exactly. We put vitamins in all of our food that we feed to our Elastigirls. A lot of the food that we feed them loses their vitamins during the freezing process, so we just are trying to replace that for them.
That's right. If we had live fish in here, Pam, how do you think that others would react if we had to feed them live fish, or would we ever do that?
We probably wouldn't ever feed live fish in here. I'm sure the sharks, depending on what the fish was, I'm sure the sharks and the rays would definitely go after it. But it's hard to tell that way who's eating and how much. We like to try and keep track of making sure all of our animals are eating and do that a little bit better. With the frozen food. And also, like I said, we want to make sure that they get the right vitamins, or if we need to medicate any of these animals, doing that through their food is a really good way.
That's right. So kind of an interesting job that you have here. Now, I know that sharks and rays are pretty closely related. You mentioned the term elasmobrain. What are some traits, Pam, that these animals share with each other?
Right, so sharks and rays are a type of fish, but they're different from a lot of fish in the ocean because of what their skeletons are made of. So, the fish that I was feeding before, those guys have skeletons made of bone. But elasmobranchs, sharks and rays, have skeletons made out of cartilage. So we have cartilage in our bodies, our ears, our kneecaps, our
Look
noses.
at that humongous.
And that cartilage, one of the things that is good about it is that it's really flexible and it's also lighter than bone. So it makes the sharks and the rays a lot more maneuverable in the water because they're not as heavy, and they can also, their skeletons are more flexible.
And does anyone in our audience have any cartilage through your nose, through your ears? They also have a pretty cool extra sense to find their food as well. If everyone wiggles your arm, wiggle your leg around, you're actually sending electricity to your extremities. And Pam, how do these guys use that to find food?
Yeah, so they have, sharks and rays have 6 senses, which is pretty cool. People only have 5. These guys have an extra one. And that sense is electroreception. So everything that has a heartbeat has an electrical current running through them that goes through their brain. And the sharks and rays have special organs that can actually sense that electrical impulse.
Very
so that's
cool.
helpful for them, especially for animals like the rays that are eating things maybe buried under the sand, so if they can't see their prey and they can't necessarily smell their prey, they can use their electroreception to tell that it's there.
Very cool. And I do know also that sharks and rays are very ancient animals. Does anyone want to take a guess at how long sharks have been around here on planet Earth? 10 years? 20 years? What do you think? 100 years? What do you think?
1,000 years?
1,000 years? What do you think? A million? Pam, do we have an estimate about how long have sharks been on planet Earth?
So sharks have been found in the fossil record up to 400 million years ago.
Wow, that's about twice as old as dinosaurs. So if you thought dinosaurs were ancient, sharks have been around for quite a long time. And we can find evidence, like Pam was saying, of fossils. But Pam, do we find fossilized shark skeletons?
No, we don't, because like I said before, shark skeletons are made out of cartilage, not bone, so they don't fossilize as well as bone does. But sharks do have teeth that fossilize very well, and they also have skin that is made out of a material that's similar to what your teeth are made out of, and that actually fossilizes really well too.
And it's a really fun thing to say. Can everyone say dermal denticles? That means skin teeth. And if you've ever seen a tooth like I have in my hand right now, you can find them at gift stores, probably on the beach if you're really lucky. Sharks go through a whole lot of teeth, and having teeth covering their whole body, including their skin, is another great adaptation that has kept them around for a very long time. Now, I've been asking you quite a few questions, Pam. Would you be willing to take questions from our audience?
Absolutely.
All right, who has a question for our biologist? What do you guys want to know? Oh, what's your question? Have you ever fallen into this exhibit?
Yeah, I have not fallen in, but I do get into this